Welcome back to Donington Park and the F3 Cup. This is the concluding race of the weekend. And Kieran Vernon starts from pole position. Alongside him, Stuart Wiltshire. It's Daniel Tapanos and Jacopo Sebastiani, Adrian Holy and Matt Payne.
There's a hole where Holy should be.
But there is no Adrian Holy on the grid. We do have a green flag, however, so the race about to get underway. Revs rise, and away we go. Oh, and Kieran Vernon bogs it down. Fantastic evasive action from Daniel Tapanos, as it's Stuart Wiltshire who takes lead the race from Tapanos, and then Jacopo Sebastiani and Matt Payne as they head through Red Gate for the first time. Kieran Vernon some way back in 5th position as they swoop down through the Craner curves in the late afternoon sunshine. That may make a tinted visor a necessity, but the dust being kicked up as already gaining the place is Kieran Vernon. He moves clear of Matt Payne as the pack begin to climb through Schwantz. Stuart Wiltshire leads the way, breaking clear of Tapanos and Jacopo Sebastiani. Kieran Vernon trying to close up onto their tail fairly rapidly. He's already pretty much with them, isn't he? As a slightly snatched break from Tapanos as Kieran Vernon, despite having lost all that ground on the grid, he's about to propel himself past Jacopo Sebastiani as they arrive on the brakes into the chicane, and that's a beautifully judged move from Kieran Vernon. So he slides through. At the very, very, very back of the pitch, you just caught a glimpse of Aaron Steele, who started it from the pit lane, as now Vernon looks to make the move. Tapanos squeezes him, but Kieran Vernon, having absolutely none of that, slides past and up into second place. Now, how quickly can he reel in Stuart Wiltshire? That is going to be something to enjoy over the next few laps, as will be the progress of Aaron Steele. Tapanos and Jacopo Sebastiani picking up pretty much from exactly where they left off in race 1. As they begin to ease their way uphill through McLean's and Coppice. And these Formula 3 cars are so enjoyable to drive. They really are miniature F1 cars, as Sebastiani gets it all wrong and skitters through the gravel trap at Coppice. Somewhere in the dust he will rejoin, but he has lost all that ground to Daniel Tapanos. So Tapanos is 3rd place. One would suspect is relatively secure, as already Kieran Vernon has got himself onto terms with Stuart Wiltshire. Now, how well will Wiltshire be able to hold on? Can he defend from Kieran Vernon? Overtaking always tricky in these cars just because of the very short braking zones, but Kieran Vernon has already demonstrated in this race that he is not afraid to pull a brave one if he needs to. And so Stuart Wiltshire just ahead of Vernon as they swoop through Schwantz. It's going to be the exit from Coppice that could be key for Kieran Vernon. Stuart Wiltshire at the same time will know that just as well. If he can get a good run down the main straight, that means Vernon can't challenge on the brakes into the Robert chicane, which is one of the principal overtaking opportunities. So the pair of them separated by about 2 car lengths as they arrive into the braking zone. They flick their way through the chicane. No way through on that occasion for Kieran Vernon, so he spends the lap in pursuit of Stuart Wiltshire. Doesn't really gain ground. He now looks to the inside into Redgate corner. Wiltshire sees him coming. The 2 Chris Dittman Racing teammates running as close as you like, and that is not what the team will be wanting to see. They want their cars to be racing and showing well. They're certainly doing that. They don't necessarily want 2 very battered Delaras at the end of this race. So Stuart Wiltshire continues to lead. Great performance this from Wiltshire, as Kieran Vernon now having to dig a bit deeper into his box of tricks. He's tried the 2 main overtaking opportunities. Now he's having to see if he can catch Wiltshire a little bit unawares. But a pair of them have got an awful lot of ground to play with here, so they don't need to concern themselves too much about slowing each other down. So again, Wiltshire able to have a sufficient buffer over Vernon into the Robert chicane, but Vernon gets a great exit and now looks to draw alongside Stuart Wiltshire, and this should be advantage Kieran Vernon. Wiltshire, I suspect, will have to concede. Indeed he does, and that was a beautifully judged move from Kieran Vernon. Magnificent run through the Robert chicane and just carried that momentum on the exit, and that gave him the pace to pass Wiltshire. But now the boot is on the other foot for Kieran Vernon. He needs to defend from Stuart Wiltshire. So the pair of them negotiate the old hairpin. Flick through Schwantz while climbing. And then over the tabletop at Coppice. So this lap pretty much ruled off. They've got 20 minutes to play with in this concluding race of the weekend for the F3 Cup. And Kieran Vernon well set, you would suspect, to make it a clean sweep in the F3 Cup here at Donington Park. He's made life difficult for himself stalling off the line, but now he has got the advantage. Well, here is the progress of Aaron Steele up behind Daniel Tapanos, and indeed moving past Tapanos. So this is up into third place for Aaron Steele. So Steele goes third. Now he has got an awful lot of ground to make up to Kieran Vernon and Stuart Wiltshire. Can he do it? Well, Steele was so dominant in the F3 Cup a few seasons ago. Former A1GP driver as well. Aaron Steele got a rookie run A1GP event, Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, which in the end turned out to be the final ever A1GP event, as just running a little bit wide is Daniel Tapanos, and that there was an example of why these Formula 3 cars are so tricky. They demand absolute concentration from these drivers, and they're also physically demanding as well. Pretty high G-forces through the corners, as Kieran Vernon has already put a lap on Matt Payne. Swoops through. There in second place is Stuart Wiltshire, and there looming large in third is Aaron Steele. Well, Wiltshire suspect it's probably going to be on the podium, but it might possibly be third place once more for him, because Aaron Steele has got him in his sights. Steele using every single inch of the curb. The same for Kieran Vernon out front. And Vernon, having raced in Formula Renault 2 litre cars, knows what it's like to be in high downforce slicks and wings single-seater cars. It's what's required to succeed with them. As now Aaron Steele has got the run on Stuart Wiltshire. They climb out of McLean's into Coppice. Still not quite close enough to challenge Wiltshire into Coppice. Probably be able to do it into the Robert chicane, or possibly in towards Redgate Corner. Those are two potential opportunities for Aaron Steele. He thinks about the move into the chicane, and he's going to make it stick. Glides past. Very fair driving as well from Stuart Wiltshire. He realised that he was coming and didn't feel the need to unnecessarily chop across his bows. So that move is completed for Aaron Steele. He is into second, but I suspect that Kieran Vernon is now just a little bit too far ahead of him up the road. Nonetheless, Steele swooping downhill around the old hairpin. Stuart Wiltshire trying to stay with him, but he's already slipped a couple of seconds adrift. Meanwhile, Daniel Tapanos is being caught by Jacopo Sebastiani. Sebastiani certainly not sure the pace this weekend. It's just been consistency that's rather cost him. Sebastiani, the colour scheme, not dissimilar to that Jazeman Jaffar ran when he raced in the British Formula 3 Championship for several seasons, going back a few years ago. Sebastiani in pursuit of Tapanos in the fight for 4th and 5th position. They have got only a handful of minutes remaining in this race as well, so Sebastiani's still got a little bit of ground to make up, but that job was made a lot easier for him. Tapanos makes the mistake on the brakes into Coppice, and now Sebastiani is perfectly poised to try and challenge down the back straight. Well, Tapanos has had this problem all weekend, locking a brake, then understeering, and he does it again into the Robert chicane, and Daniel Tapanos concedes 4th place, clatters through the gravel trap. He does rejoin. I just hope that that car hasn't ingested any gravel, in which case that could cause a lot of problems in the form of an engine detonation. As it is, Tapanos continues on his way in 5th place. He is a long way clear, however, of Matt Payne in 6th. That need not unduly concern him. Likewise for Jacopo Sebastiani. Stuart Wiltshire is several seconds up the road, as Kieran Vernon powers through, and Kieran Vernon absolutely flying. He just sets the fastest lap of the race as he heads into what will be his last lap. And Kieran Vernon, just emphatic and imperious performance in the F3 Cup, and this is one of the most enjoyable facets really of Formula 3 racing, is that when the cars are being driven at their limit, as it has been this weekend by Kieran Vernon, you could just watch them circulating all day. They really are silky smooth around the track, and Vernon just letting the car do all the work. It's not to say that Vernon hasn't had to work at it, immense physical concentration throughout the weekend, but Vernon has been a star performer at Donington Park. He accelerates now towards the Robert chicane for the final time. He's going to make it a clean sweep of wins in the F3 Cup, completely dominates the weekend as Kieran Vernon takes the checkered flag. The Chris Dickman Racing team celebrate. Vernon will be overjoyed with that after stalling on the line, the perfect comeback drive. Let's take a look then at the final results. Kieran Vernon wins it from Aaron Steele, with Stuart Wiltshire completing the podium. Then it's Jacopo Sebastiani, Daniel Tapanos and Matt Payne. That's it from Donington Park, but don't forget to join us in a few weeks' time with more action from the F3 Cup.